Well, I have a rewarding career running an environmental nonprofit and identify as an environmentalist. Perhaps more intriguing is my role as a lobbyist. When I tell people that I'm a lobbyist, I get reactions ranging from disgust to interest to confusion. Many ask, what even is a lobbyist? Last year, I was spending some time with my 6-year-old niece, and she asked me just that. What do you do for work? I told her that I talked to lawmakers about the environment. Of course, she followed up and she wanted to know exactly what I talked to them about. Well, you know how we pick up litter at the beach? I tell lawmakers to stop big companies from littering, a type of littering called pollution that can really hurt people and animals. Do you know the governor? She asked. And sure, I've met him and he just signed a really big law I worked on called the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. When her parents returned home, she proudly told my brother, Daddy, did you know that Auntie Jennifer can tell the government what to do? And sure, it's a little like that, but with a lot less listening than I would like. In my view, lobbyists are the guide to the purposely over-complex process of government. And sure, not all lobbyists are created equal, but for someone that notices injustice and wants to do something about it, having a lobbyist on your side can go a long way. In fact, there are few things as powerful as a passionate advocate with a bone to pick. And there's no reason why you can't be one of the people that does something remarkable through advocacy, positively impacting people all around you. Advocacy is remarkable because of its multiplying effect on individual actions. I can stop using styrofoam at home, but if I ban foam foodware this session, I can make sure there's less styrofoam litter everywhere. I can put solar panels on my home, but through advocacy, I can change policy to make solar panels more affordable and accessible to everyone. In fact, with over 100,000 involved Illinoisans, our advocacy led to the passage of the law that I told my niece about, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, one of the boldest and most equitable climate bills in the nation, which will bring thousands of megawatts of clean energy and tens of thousands of jobs to Illinois. But not every moment of advocacy needs to be that enormous. And you don't need to work full-time for a nonprofit organization to make a difference. One of my favorite stories is about a woman and her persistence. A few years ago, Nicole Virgil from Elmhurst gave me a call. As you know, Illinois has a short growing season, and Nicole had installed a hoop house in her backyard. A hoop house is an arch-shaped structure that, like a greenhouse, traps heat to extend the growing season, but unlike a greenhouse, can be easily taken down as temperatures warm. Before she knew it, a neighbor complained, and the village of Elmhurst banned hoop houses. Nicole looked around her town, and she saw hoop houses and other similar backyard structures, and she grew frustrated that the village was arbitrarily blocking her efforts. Then, she read about governments and HOAs across the country that were blocking efforts to grow your own food. That didn't sit right with Nicole. Nicole called me looking for a solution. Together, we worked with a few diligent state lawmakers. Nicole testified in Springfield, and she called every lawmaker that we suggested. It took nearly 3 years, but we were able to pass a law to guarantee the right to grow a garden in Illinois. And now, Nicole's family grows more lettuce, tomatoes, and squash than ever in their hoop house. And Illinoisans everywhere enjoy the same protection to grow their own food. Seeing stories like these firsthand, sometimes I wonder why more people don't want to get involved in advocacy. But I have an idea as to why that is. After all, Illinois is known as one of the most politically corrupt states in the country. And as a lobbyist, I can attest to the nature of that corruption. Just for fun, I have an entire folder on my computer of pictures of myself with indicted lawmakers. That photo slideshow is like indicted, convicted, pleaded guilty. It is not the most inspiring photo montage, to say the least. And I'll be the first to admit, it can be an uphill battle for those looking to challenge money and corruption in politics and who want to make a difference. Illinois government has also been rocked by the scandals of sexual harassment and abuse exposed by the Me Too movement. Many women, including myself, have stories of political players behaving inappropriately and inadequate means to address these issues because of the sharp power dynamic and lack of employment relationship between lobbyists and lawmakers. This work is more difficult and frustrating than it needs to be, and it's my belief that these conditions are purposeful. People who have power and want to abuse it want to keep out people who want to share power and open the process to new and diverse voices. I know I can sound a bit dark when I talk about the realities of advocacy in Springfield. But the truth is, I hold a lot of hope because I have seen how opening up the process can lead to good results. If we want to clear out the corrupt, offensive, and smoky back rooms where bad policy is made, we need people watching, participating, and in the room where decisions are made. I need you there because you can bring the daylight that will change the old way of doing things. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for everyone that calls Illinois home. If you want to pursue advocacy as a career, or you just want to add a little bit of advocacy to your life, I want to encourage you, starting today. The first step, and this is a personal one, is to look around your life for an area where you'd like to make a meaningful difference. It can be a big issue that impacts the state or the federal government, the whole country. Or it might make sense to start close to home and your community, like Nicole did. Regardless of your chosen issue, the second step, and this is a big one, is building relationships with important people all across the political spectrum. If it's a big issue, you'll want to connect with advocacy groups working on similar issues. If it's a local issue, you're going to want to connect with your neighbors. Truly putting yourself in another person's shoes and taking their concerns seriously will make you a more effective advocate for your own position while addressing your opponent's concerns. That is to say, I know that not every lawmaker or neighbor is going to agree with what you want to do, but you will be most effective when you understand where those that disagree with you are coming from. I have truly enjoyed getting to know those that I disagree with. One lawmaker that tends to be on the far right-wing fringes loves to tell me about the soil conservation practices at his family farm and his work to reduce pesticides. Another lawmaker that I've gotten very close to has taken me out to his family farm, where I was terrified to drive the combine, especially at the end of the row of corn where you have to do a U-turn. I can hardly parallel park a car. Another, in an area with a high crime rate, shared with me his safety concerns over having to wait outside to charge an electric vehicle for 15 minutes. Safety concerns I've never personally experienced. The best way to get to know a lawmaker is to take them on a trip of one of many of Illinois' spectacular natural areas. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. Once, I took a lawmaker named Chad Hayes on a canoe trip. A few minutes into that canoe trip, we fell in. Let me tell you, it was not warm out. Chad took it well, even though he lost his favorite hat. And when we returned, he told other lawmakers that if they voted the wrong way on a bill, Jen Walling would throw them into 55-degree water. I have never contested that allegation. And listen, for every discouraging moment or bad actor that I've encountered, I've met twice as many incredible advocates and lawmakers. That's because of the wonderful relationships that I've been able to build. The third step is to learn the process used to make policy. Civics is a basic life skill that we are rarely taught, but it's one that we all need to survive and thrive. Understanding how to pay attention to what your government is doing, or understanding how to connect with advocates that can alert you, is a critical life skill. The process might move quickly, or it might take a long time, but understanding the process will make sure that you can be involved. Now that you have chosen your issue, built relationships, and learned the process, it's our job to keep our work respectful and efficient. All of us have been to painfully long government meetings. Let's be the person that keeps our remarks short and effective so that we can make space for new voices in the process. Whether it's our library board or park council or federal congressman, advocacy is meaningful and important. It's how we can bring change at scale, going from composting in our own backyard, because we know it's important, to the availability of composting facilities that benefit us all. While it may no doubt be difficult and frustrating, each of us that gets involved brings more light to the process. I want my niece to have a livable world through environmental protection and a transparent and responsive government where the fight with advocacy against injustice is a joy. Each of us that gets involved can lead to that future. I can't wait to see you there.